Yo, hoop fans, your sideline sage, Tips and Upstreams, is lacing up once again. On deck, deep dives into the freshest NBA clashes, ready to set the planks ablaze. But before we jump the ball, be sure to hammer that subscribe on our YouTube channel to keep hooked with our sharp forecasts and prime selections. All right, let's bounce into today's NBA Crystal Ball reads. The first prediction for today is for the game between Memphis Grizzlies and Brooklyn Nets. In the thick of the NBA's heated season, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Brooklyn Nets are prepping for a crucial showdown, a game loaded with high-flying dunks and heart-stopping basketball drama. The Grizzlies, caught in a rough patch with a 5-game skid, are itching for a win to break the cycle against the Nets, who've hit their stride with victories in 3 of their last 4 games. This face-off is more than a test of endurance for both teams. It's a deep dive into their form, strategies on both ends of the court, and the impact of recent injuries on their season's journey. The Grizzlies are in a bit of a bind, scraping the bottom of the league with an average of 106.1 points on 43.8% shooting, while their defense allows 112.8 points on 47.3% shooting. Their scoring and defensive challenges are deepened by the absence of key players like Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, and Jaren Jackson-Jr., creating significant gaps in their lineup. Meanwhile, the Brooklyn Nets, despite hurdles of their own, are managing 112.2 points on 45.8% shooting and give up 114.3 points on 46.9% shooting. Under the guidance of Mikal Bridges and Cam Thomas, the Nets' game plan shines from the perimeter, though their efficiency dips closer to the basket, highlighting their struggles and missed shots. Looking back at their recent matchups in Brooklyn, the Nets have used their home advantage to overcome the Grizzlies, consistently beating the spread. Yet the Grizzlies' grit and knack for beating the odds, especially when pegged as underdogs, reveal their relentless spirit and tenacity. The stats paint a picture of two teams with diverging strengths and weaknesses. The Grizzlies' troubles with shooting percentages put them at a disadvantage, particularly against a Nets squad that knows how to capitalize on three-pointers and in-the-paint plays. The Nets' defense, with metrics like opponent free throws and steals per game, seems better positioned against a Grizzlies team struggling with scoring and ball control. Considering the injury updates, recent team performances, and key statistics, the Nets appear to have the upper hand, especially with their strong record at home against teams from the Southwest Division with losing streaks. However, the Grizzlies' history of overcoming the odds in tough situations, paired with the Nets' mixed results against Western Conference teams following upset victories, adds a layer of unpredictability. In sum, while the Nets aim to leverage their home court and recent positive momentum, the Grizzlies' determination to beat the spread in challenging times deserves attention. Despite the Nets' favored status, the Grizzlies' resolve to fight through their lineup issues makes them my pick to defy the 9-point spread expectation. The total points prediction is complex, but considering the offensive difficulties and defensive prowess of both teams, betting on the under for a 212-point total seems wise. My selection is for the Memphis Grizzlies to beat the 9-point spread, showcasing their tenacity and ability to surprise. The next prediction for today is for the game between Los Angeles Clippers and Milwaukee Bucks. In the electric atmosphere of the NBA, an eagerly awaited face-off is on the horizon at the Fiserv Forum, where the Milwaukee Bucks are set to entertain the Los Angeles Clippers in a blockbuster primetime game. The Bucks, surfing a high wave of momentum, are ready to take on a Clippers team braving the tough seas of a back-to-back game schedule. Coming off an explosive 140-115 win against the Washington Wizards, the Clippers showcased their scoring arsenal with James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George dropping significant digits on the scoreboard. Yet, the sidelining of Russell Westbrook due to a hand injury presents a challenge they must navigate, particularly as they square off against the Bucks without the benefit of rest. The Clippers' grit and ability to rebound from setbacks were on display in their triumph over the Wizards, but the ultimate challenge awaits in Milwaukee. Meanwhile, the Bucks have been tearing it up post-All-Star break, locking down on defense and becoming increasingly miserly, keeping rivals to under 100 points in 6 out of their last 9 outings. The dynamic blend of Giannis Antetokounmpo's scoring touch and the squad's defensive strength has catapulted Milwaukee into a winning streak, establishing them as a formidable contender. Under Doc Rivers' leadership, the Bucks have hit a sweet spot, merging intensity with tactical savvy. a deep dive into the recent performances of both teams, particularly when considering home versus away dynamics, swings in favor of the Bucks. Milwaukee's stronghold at the Fiserv Forum, combined with the Clippers' weariness from consecutive games, tips the balance. Historically, teams lacking rest tend to slip in efficiency, notably in shooting accuracy and board control, areas where the Bucks shine. In their recent showdowns at the Fiserv Forum, the Bucks have consistently exploited their home court edge, outclassing visitors in key stats. With the Clippers facing the double whammy of missing a vital player and the strain of back-to-back games, the Bucks' united front and strategic depth under Rivers are anticipated to prevail. Considering the Clippers' commendable offensive prowess and the Bucks' defensive renaissance, the matchup is shaping up as a battle of contrasting playstyles. Nonetheless, Milwaukee's defensive intensity and the Clippers' potential exhaustion are likely to be pivotal. While the Clippers possess the scoring power to make it a tight contest, Milwaukee's harmonized offense and robust defense, backed by their fans, are expected to be the game changers. Bookmakers have pegged the Bucks as 4-point favorites, signaling confidence in Milwaukee's capacity to beat the spread, especially given the Clippers' grueling schedule. With the Bucks in fine defensive form and the Clippers possibly flagging, Milwaukee is expected not just to triumph, but also to beat the spread. Regarding total points, the game might lean towards a lower tally than anticipated, making betting the under on a 228-point total worth considering. In the aftermath of the All-Star break, the Milwaukee Bucks are primed to continue their impressive run, taking advantage of the Los Angeles Clippers' weariness from consecutive games and the notable absence of Westbrook. There's a strong chance the Clippers might bench one of their key players in this back-to-back scenario. With Milwaukee's formidable defense and Giannis's standout leadership at the helm, they're set to notch up another win and beat the point spread. Expect their defensive strategy to potentially keep the game's total score under the anticipated threshold. Before you lay your bets on this game, make sure to review the injury updates for both squads. I'm backing the Bucks to secure the win and outpace the 4-point spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Portland Trail Blazers and Minnesota Timberwolves. On a brisk Monday evening, the NBA world zeroes in on the Target Center as the Portland Trail Blazers gear up for a clash with the Minnesota Timberwolves in a matchup that's shaping up to be nothing short of electrifying. Fresh off a nail-biting overtime win against the Memphis Grizzlies, the Blazers are on a mission to keep the adrenaline pumping. They flipped the script against Memphis, erasing a 13-point deficit in crunch time, thanks in large part to Anfernee Simons' scintillating 30-point explosion that highlighted his pivotal place in Portland's scoring machine. Meanwhile, the Timberwolves are on the hunt for a comeback after a tight loss to the Sacramento Kings. Despite showing grit, they couldn't claw back from an early stumble. Facing the grind of a back-to-back, the Timberwolves are up against the wall, testing their squad depth and endurance. With the Wolves trying to shake off recent stumbles and the weariness that comes with back-to-back play, these factors could tip the scales. Despite being the home favorites with a 14.5-point advantage according to the odds makers, the Blazers have proven they're a force to be reckoned with, especially when players like Simons rise to the occasion. On paper, the Timberwolves might look superior, but they're currently in a rut. The Blazers, often seen as the underdogs, have a history of pulling through against the odds, as their latest games show. With Jerami Grant's playtime up in the air due to a minor knock, Portland might lean more on its reserves, opening doors for Simons and talents like Jabari Walker to make their mark. Historically, face-offs at the Target Center have been intense, and delving into recent matchups here shows a trend of nail-biters. The home court advantage for the Timberwolves and the Blazers' never-say-die attitude set the stage for a fascinating showdown, with victory hanging on who capitalizes on the other's lapses. Digging into stats like field goal percentages, three-point efficiency, and boards, especially in home versus away games, sheds light on the dynamics. The Wolves, with bigs like Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, might dominate the paint and curb Portland's second-chance scores. Yet, the Blazers' knack for clutch plays, as seen in their victory over Memphis, is undeniable. Forecasting this game means balancing Minnesota's on-paper edge and home court against Portland's surge and the toll of the Wolves' back-to-back schedule. The Blazers standing up to the hefty 14.5-point spread is within the realm of possibility, given their form and Minnesota's challenges. On paper, the Timberwolves might appear formidable, but given the dynamic at play, Portland's rising wave and Minnesota's back-to-back game fatigue, this clash is shaping up to be more nail-biting than initially thought. The pivotal reason I'm leaning towards the Trailblazers to beat the odds is due to the Timberwolves' consecutive games, their sluggish tempo, and the notably lackluster offense displayed by both teams, which tends to result in lower-scoring affairs where the Blazers thrive. Are the Timberwolves capable of dominating? Absolutely, but it looks like they're hitting a rough patch and would likely settle for any form of win in this scenario. Count on the Blazers to surpass expectations, beating the odds in a game that promises to keep spectators glued to their seats. Placing a bet on the under for total points is also a prudent move, mirroring the recent scoring trends of both teams. The savvy wager: support the Portland Trail Blazers in overcoming the spread in a contest that's bound to be closer than anticipated. Go with the Blazers. The next prediction for today is for the game between Washington Wizards and Utah Jazz. Tonight's showdown takes the beleaguered Washington Wizards to the hardwood of the Delta Center, squaring up against the Utah Jazz in a clash that's set to challenge their comeback game after recent slips. The Wizards, caught in a 14-game slump, are on the hunt for a much-needed victory, while the Jazz aim to shake off a trio of defeats. With the Wizards tied at rock bottom in the league standings and the Jazz trailing by 6.5 games for a play-in tournament berth, it's crunch time for both squads. The Wizards have flashed some offensive prowess, putting up an average of 114.6 points on 47.1% from the field, with Kyle Kuzma leading the offensive onslaught. Yet their defense has been their Achilles heel, letting opponents light up the scoreboard with 124.6 points on 50.2% shooting. Interestingly, they've shown more grit on the road than at home, snagging 6 of their 9 wins in enemy territory. This knack for scoring and rebounding away from home sparks a ray of hope for tonight's face-off. Conversely, the Jazz, despite their defensive hiccups, have kept the scoreboard ticking, averaging 117.5 points on 46.9% shooting. With their main man, Lauri Markkanen, sidelined for tonight's game, the Jazz are looking at Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson to step up in the scoring department. Their dominance on the glass, ranked second in the league for total rebounds per game, and home court vibe could tilt the scales in their favor against the Wizards. Eyeing the recent matchups at the Delta Center, the Jazz has typically had the upper hand against the Wizards, including a commanding 123-108 win earlier this season. But given the current state of play and the specific dynamics of home-away performances, tonight's game is shaping up to be tighter than the bookies might have it. The Jazz's recent struggles with the spread, combined with the Wizards' slightly superior road game, hint at the Wizards possibly beating the 7.5-point spread. Moreover, with both teams showing signs of offensive inconsistency and the Jazz missing a key scorer in Lauri Markkanen, the anticipated shootout might not come to fruition. The over-under line at 239.5 points is looking a tad optimistic, especially with the Wizards' scoring drought and the Jazz's depleted arsenal. Expect a battle that doesn't hit the expected high score, making the under a savvy wager. Wrapping it up, while the Jazz hold the favorites tag, the Wizards' hunger and marginally better road form suggest they could defy the spread. Coupled with Lauri Markkanen's absence and the recent form of both teams, we're looking at a contest that won't soar to 239.5 points. My bet? The Wizards will beat the spread, and we'll see total points dip below 239.5. The next prediction for today is for the game between Chicago Bulls and Sacramento Kings. As the Chicago Bulls set their sights on the Sacramento Kings at the Golden One Center for the climactic end to their seasonal showdown, they're rolling in from distinctly different performances in their recent games. Sitting at 9th in the Eastern Conference, the Bulls faced a tough defeat against Milwaukee, falling 113-97, a score that mirrors their recent struggles. Despite the rocky road, Chicago's playoff hopes are still flickering. Their scoring has been lukewarm of late, with an average of 109.2 points in their last 6 matches, highlighting a season-long battle indicated by their 25th place in scoring at 111.7 points per game. Even with DeMar DeRozan's usually steady contributions, his recent slump against Milwaukee has spotlighted Chicago's scoring challenges. Conversely, the Sacramento Kings are hitting their stride, clinching a tight victory over Minnesota and inching away from the play-in tournament fray, positioned 7th in the Western Conference. With Malik Monk's standout performances leading the charge, their offense is in stark contrast to Chicago's, claiming the 8th spot in scoring with an average of 118.2 points per game. This scoring prowess is supported by superior field and three-point shooting, outmatching the Bulls. Defensively, both squads have their soft spots. Yet the Kings edge out with slightly better rebounding and shot blocking, thanks in large part to Domantas Sabonis, who tops the league in rebounds. Their last face-off saw the Kings dominate the Bulls early on, hinting at a psychological advantage as they enter this game. Looking at the stats and recent performance, Sacramento's home turf and offensive dynamism seem to shift the odds in their favor. The Kings have been dominant, especially at home, signaling a potential to not just win, but also beat the spread. With an over-under set at 229.5, the game is poised for a high score, given both teams' offensive strengths and defensive weaknesses, particularly Sacramento's scoring spree and Chicago's road vulnerabilities. In essence, the Sacramento Kings are tipped to triumph and surpass the 6-point spread, driven by their offensive edge, home advantage, and past victories against the Bulls. The match's dynamics, characterized by powerful offenses and defensive shortcomings, suggest surpassing the total points threshold of 229.5. My prediction leans towards a Kings victory and an over on the total points, reflecting the current state and statistical analysis of both teams. The bet is on the Sacramento Kings to emerge victorious and cover the spread. The last prediction for today is for the game between Oklahoma City Thunder and Los Angeles Lakers. In the exhilarating universe of basketball, an essential showdown looms as the Oklahoma City Thunder go head-to-head with the Los Angeles Lakers at the legendary Crypto.com arena. This clash is set to be a blockbuster, with both squads entering the fray on a high. The Thunder have clinched 7 victories in their recent 8 games, while the Lakers have triumphed in 6 of their last 9 matches. Under the leadership of the outstanding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, boasting an average of 31.2 points and 6.5 assists, the Thunder have been on a scoring spree, averaging 121.2 points on a formidable 50.2% shooting from the field. Their accuracy from the three-point line is also noteworthy, with a 39.6% success rate. Nevertheless, they're at a disadvantage, playing back-to-back and coming off a rigorous encounter with the Suns, which might impact their vigor and gameplay. Conversely, the Lakers, with basketball royalty LeBron James and the commanding Anthony Davis at the helm, have shown formidable strength, especially on their home court. Despite a recent defeat to the Nuggets, the Lakers' scoring ability and rebounding prowess, highlighted by Davis's average of 25 points and 12.3 rebounds, should not be overlooked. Their 37.1% three-point shooting and average of 42.4 rebounds per game demonstrate their capacity to dominate the game's rhythm and space. The Lakers' advantage of playing at home and having had more rest compared to the Thunder, who are enduring a punishing schedule, could play a crucial role in this contest. The Thunder's tight schedule, featuring 4 games in 6 days, presents a substantial hurdle, particularly against a Lakers squad eager to cement their playoff standing. Historically, the Lakers have dominated recent matchups against the Thunder, including a 112-105 win a month and a half ago. Anthony Davis has especially been a thorn in the Thunder side, with averages of 28.0 points and 13.3 rebounds across 3 games this season. While the Thunder leads in offensive efficiency, the Lakers' tenacity and strategic play at home could neutralize this. The Thunder's superiority in blocks per game contrasts with the Lakers' weaknesses in offensive rebounds and three-point attempts, areas that could be exploited. However, the Lakers' defensive strategies and potential advantage due to the Thunder's weariness might sway the outcome in their favor. Given the factors at play, including the Thunder's demanding schedule, the Lakers' home court and strategic benefits, and their historical edge in direct confrontations, the forecast tilts towards the Lakers not just securing a win, but also surpassing the spread. The Lakers' resolve, coupled with their tactical superiority and the Thunder's potential exhaustion, positions them as the frontrunners in this riveting matchup. Anticipate a high-scoring game, but with the Lakers' slight strategic edge, they're expected to overcome the 1.5-point spread. My wager is on the Lakers to beat the 1.5-point spread.